What's up, sickos? It's me, it's Bix Biscuit, and you're watching Don't Call Me Diva. It's really fucking hot. This is the show where we only talk AEW affiliated women's wrestling in the fun style of kayfabe and whimsy. We have law here, and Don't Call Me Divaville. So, you want to catch up because we are deep into this. Go check out episode 1 of this playlist. Today, we are starting off episode, what is it? 34! Can you freaking believe it? I can't. We're here. And let's go. I usually have a better intro than that, but we're just going with that one. Okay. Like the manic, I'm way too hot. I'm real shiny. Can you see I'm shiny? Anyway, we're moving on. As promised, we are going to be talking about the World Championship match from World's End between the world champion Chris Statlander and the former world champion Jamie Hayter. This was such a good match. So many people have said how much this was a good match. So many people have said how much this was an amazing pay-per-view as well. I, of course, enjoyed this battle so much. I felt that Chris was really relishing her moments of domination, don't you think? Especially when, the strength was involved. And it was a fun thing to watch come out of her, with her growing little champion personality. Hayter has had a bajillion hard matches and knows how to get the most out of her own strength. I wouldn't say that she thought Chris would be easy to overpower at all, but I think she was confident that she had what she took to take Stat out and also take the title. And fair enough to her. Why challenge the world champion if you do not think that you have the strength and the power and the stamina and the oomph to take that title away from her? These two don't despise each other, which is new for the recent battles that we have been having. They don't even have any sort of beef. This is a very respectful fight for gold. And Hayter was one of the 4 wrestlers in a 3-way, by the way, that led to Stat becoming to the champion. Tony got her rematch. It's Jamie's turn. Does that mean our toxic spider will be getting her rematch soon? Let's get to that a little bit later, though, shall we? We're jumping ahead when we're jumping backwards. The last time these two went one-on-one was during the Owen Hart Cup, and Hayter defeated Stat. By the way, Stat has been in the Owen twice, but has never won it so far. The world champion Chris Statlander, the Cosmic Killer, is also still the Eve International Champion. She has held that belt for almost 190 days. In November of 2024, she defended that belt in a 4-way against Alex Windsor, Anita Vaughn, and you. I am just going to quickly skedoodle over to this Google machine and tell you that Eve International title 4-way was in an online stream event of Pro Wrestling Eve called Eve 141 Elite Encounters. Google doohickey AI thingamajiggy will tell you that it doesn't exist, and they would be lies. Anyway. The regular program. Knew I wasn't going mental. I had the expected pleasure. Okay, I went into that with way different energy than what I was meant to with this sentence. That makes me sound like I'm a little bit, let's bring that down a bit, shall we? And redo that again. I had the unexpected pleasure, see, that's much more better, of witnessing Yu's last match in Tokyo Joshi Pro last November that I told you guys all about when I was in Japan. She went on a mini tour for her retirement. Anita Vaughn, who was also in that match, is from Ireland. She's been wrestling for 7 years and was the Eve International Champion that Stat defeated. Yi has also held the Eve International Championship, the current record holder for the longest reign at 789 days. Damn, she lost it to Nina Samuels, who we spoke briefly about in episode 23. This battle takes place in the Hoffman Estates Now Arena in Illinois. And the arena is packed full of ravenous fans who have already fed on some pretty damn good wrestling these last couple of hours. The challenger comes out first. Her music fills the arena and pumps everyone up, as you know it does. This is not a revenge battle, so the taunting "you're gonna die" song doesn't really fit the mood. But much dancing was still performed, of course. Gotta get that in. Hater is covered in animal print from her long, very comfortable looking cheetah print battle coat with black trim. Her battle gear is also a combination of cheetah and zebra that continues in the ascot around her throat, with accents of red and sparkles, as is wrestling tradition. Has booped my nose. Hater battle poses on the entrance ramp as fire erupts on either side. This makes the crowd hype up even more, and Hater starts her stomp down to the ring. She battle poses one more time before giving her coat a damn good earring before hitting it out of the ring. When the music of the world champion hits, not even Hater can stop those hits from giving a little shimmy. In fear, it is quite the bop. Our world champion is bathed in light and wears a very long white battle coat with the world championship around her waist. She holds it high in the air as fireworks explode around her. The cosmic killer stomps down to the ring and battle poses with the championship belt before handing it off to Red Aubrey. No, Ref Aubrey. Ooh, no, I just had like this side like storyline of like Aubrey also having the red shoes, and she like red shoes with red shoes in New Japan. If you know, you know, we're moving on. The crowd is bubbling with excitement for this battle to begin. Hater's expression matches the world champion's stern, no nonsense demeanor as they start to circle each other. Their first lockup is very tight, but the world champion has a slighter edge over Hater, and she backs her up against the ropes. Stat breaks contact and gives Hater some space. Jamie adjusts her ascot, and I don't know how she can wrestle with a scarf around her neck. And that would just like drive me bonkers. Plus, people can like grab it, and I have like the hair mirror. We can have the ascot mirror with that. I digress. The adjustment must have activated something in her because when the two wrestlers lock up again, Hater quickly forces Stat to the mat and up the ropes, almost to the floor. For the third lockup, the world champion engages strong mode and throws Hater through those ropes, and she makes it to the floor. Hater takes some time to regather herself on the outside, while the world champion gives us the world champion gun show. And there were many. The next time they collide, it gets a bit technical, with both trying to get the quick pin and the cheeky roll up. They test each other's mat game until it becomes clear that in this they are both matched. Hater quickly turns it into a strength fight again as she comes firing off the ropes and takes the unprepared world champion off of her feet. The expression on Stat's face tells us everything we need to know about what she is feeling. They burst into combat once more, with Stat whipping Hater into the ropes, and as she comes back with extra momentum, Chris Statlander shoulder tackles Hater, and Hater goes slamming down into that mat. This gets the instant world champion gun show. She was very proud of herself with that one. Like, in this way, the world championship gun show is pretty much like pissing all over the the crowd cheer appropriately as our world champion at our world champion's cunning. Hater is quick to get to her feet and the two square up. Instead of instantly getting physical, the two share some words. Uh, You think you're tough? Yeah, I do. You know, type of conversation that takes place when they seem to come to an agreement and instantly start dueling, like just running off the ropes and colliding with each other type of duel to see who will go down first. When that doesn't work, they decide to exchange very stiff forearms to the jaw in the center of the ring. Into one particular forearm makes the world champion real mad, and she retaliates with a boot to the gut and a swift kick to the side of Hayter's face, which was a little rude, but we're in battle. Hayter ends up betwixt the ropes with the world champion on the apron, who then takes Hayter's head in hand and cracks her with a stunner. The world champion is not done and springboards off the bottom rope and drops her leg down onto the back of Hayter's head, and Jamie tumbles down to the floor in spectacular fashion. The world champion basks in her glory, you can imagine how, and calls upon the crowd to get even more behind her. Hayter stumbles to her feet as Chris readies herself for the pendulum moonsault, but a quick Hayter avoids being knocked down by the incoming world champion. Stat lands on her feet. Jamie takes aim. Stat ducks the lariat, steadies herself just in time to counter Hayter's dropkick. With one brief look over her shoulder, Chris spies the steel steps and thinks, that'll do. Hayter has no idea what is coming and gets catapulted face first onto the top of the steel steps and clunks onto the floor. The ref is like, yo, you might want to get this shit back into the ring, and the world champion obliges and even helps out Hayter, who has yet to recover from having her face smashed in by the steel stairs, by grabbing her by her luscious hair and rolling Hayter back into the ring. Steph goes for the pin, but Hayter kicks out to, she checks her nose and tries to shake like off that whole steel step situation, but Stat gives her no time to breathe and locks in a lovely little tight choke. Hayter gets mired and uses the power of rage to get to her feet. But the world champions, the fuck out of that, clobbers down onto Hayter's back, who goes down to one knee. Hayter is at Stat's mercy, and she doesn't have much mercy to give. Stat whips her first into the turnbuckles, right told by the champion. She just gets smushed, but she still kicks out at three. Before three. Stat has a kind of expression on her face. Like, she thought it'd be over right then and there, but surely that's just the champion's ego talking, because this is not enough to defeat Hayter. Hello? Have you seen Hayter? Especially when she's coming for your title. Jamie Hayter is not only a former AEW World Champion, but also a former EVE International Champion. Almost as close to an equal as you can currently get to Statlander. Hayter eats some more damage from Stat until the fuck this noise meter fills, and Hayter turns the pain tides on the champion and chops some revenge into her chest. It doesn't get as far though, because Chris Statlander is all like, excuse me, and turns the tides again on Hayter and slams her face into the top turnbuckle. There's a pattern. Every time Hayter gets some damage in on the world champion, Stat always has a response, and it's always with like extra fire. That whole champion boost. Stat fucks up here though. She takes way too long to set up for the Vader bomb and slams down onto Hayter boots the life out of Stat and then lariats her right in the ring. Hayter thought she had enough time to kiss the biceps and gather some incoming power from the crowd, but Stat's world champion, I don't think so, bonus kicks in again. Stat pulls Hayter out of the ring by her feet and leads her in a brutal dance on the outside that makes its way to the Spanish announce desk. Chris has ideas, but Hayter had a quicker plan, and with perfect accuracy, flies off that Spanish announce desk and missiles herself through the world champion with a glorious drop kick. Literally one of the best I have ever seen. Hayter lands heavy on the ground as well, but she has success on her side. Stat is dead. The crowd is like, fuck yeah! And Hater slaps the ground for a battle bonus. She gets to her feet and lets out a battle cry to the world. Hang on. Give me. Hater takes the world champion by the hair and rolls her back into the ring. Without wasting a moment, Hater climbs to the top rope and lands another superb drop kick that sends Stat flying backwards across the ring. Stat is on her feet, but she cannot do anything to stop the incoming lariat and backdrop driver from Hater. Stat kicks out of Hater's pin attempt, but she cannot capitalize. Hater feeds the world champion a couple of big boots and goes for another pin, but this will not work either. So Hater turns to choking the world champion. Stat fights out of the choke, delivers her clobbering combo of running lariat and running knee, and tops it all off with a devastating Michinoku driver. But Hater won't die, and it wasn't the best pin, in all honesty. Stat's face is seething with anger and also exhaustion, but she should be angry with herself. That pin was shit. Hater is up on her feet to meet her again. In battle. They are both buggered to an equal setting, so neither can try and take control of the match, and they also just counter each other's moves. They end up locking eyes in the middle of the ring and start exchanging forearms until Hater breaks it up with a knee to Stat's belly. Jamie lands a combo of stiff shots to Stat's body, but hesitates slightly too long, and Hater catapults herself into a boosted forearm that just knocks her silly right there. The world champion is taking in deep breaths. Thinking Hater is out on her feet, she takes a moment to regroup and then runs off the rope straight into the waiting arms of Jamie Hater, who hefts the world champion up onto her shoulders and then brings her crashing down onto her knee for an Ushigoroshi, which sets up Stat up perfectly for the sliding lariat. Hater goes for the pins, leans back like flash dance in preparation for a drenching, which makes for a sexy but not successful pin. The world champion rolls slowly through the ropes and checks her jaw. Still there. Hater takes a moment to release some frustration and then goes to help Stat with her jaw by slamming her face into the top turnbuckle. She kind of had that coming. Things get real dangerous as the battle climbs the ropes and both wrestlers become entangled and on top rope. Hater grabs a handful of meaty thigh and powers Stat off the top rope, crashing down into the mat via an avalanche suplex. Hater scrambles for the pin, but the world champion, she is not out. This is it. Hater is done. Off comes the ascot. She hefts it at Statlander. She walks over him, pummels her with forearms. She sends Stat to the ropes, but when Chris comes back, she catches Hater and drives her head into the mat with a package pile driver. Ending all that. Both wrestlers are done. Until Chris instantly realizes that this could be the move, and that does it. I'm sorry. That this could be the move that does it. And scampers over to pin Jamie Hater, but it's just a two. The world champion cannot help but let out some frustration. She looks around the ring, muttering promises, and drags Hater's body closer to a corner. The world champion signals for Area 51 and climbs the ropes. Hater has burst into action though, and they start fighting on those ropes. Stat lays in one extra stiff chop that stuns Hater, making her vulnerable enough to Stat to climb the ropes and lock in her plan. Hater is in a very compromising position. She tries to shimmy her way out of the clutches of the world champion, but Stat gets her footing, and Hater gets slammed into the mat via a avalanche Michinoku driver. That kills literally everybody who saw it. Everyone's dead. The whole world died. How Hater survived, I will never know. It was so impactful, that avalanche Michinoku driver. It was so impressive. It was so brutal. Perfectly executed. The Hater is not dead. Chris taunts the bear a bit by attempting a haterade, and as soon as she kisses her own bicep, Jamie Hater awakens and literally explodes with a Saito suplex that plants Stat on her head. And with that, Hater goes for the pin. She secures the legs, but not the shoulders, and Stat kicks out before three. And not a just in time kick out either. Stat powered out of that pin. And Hater was enraged, but inspired. It was time to like fully take out the world champion. Now, sidebar, did y'all see how fucking like in their feelings a whole bunch of like certain people got in about that Avalanche Michinoku driver? Fucking like jealous much just because you can't pull it off safely. Hater powers up with the bicep with she powers up the bicep with a million kisses and circles three. She picks Stat up and gets ready to deliver the haterade, but Stat ducks the match-ending blow, kind of and springs out of it in a way and kicks Hater in the face. It was very impressive. This kicks off a beautiful dance of violence that ensues after this completely out of nowhere, because how these two wrestlers still have enough stamina and strength to explode with this much energy is very impressive. It all ends in a collapse of bodies after Hater breaks Stat into with the hate breaker, to which Stat replied with the last of her strength with a vertical suplex, and both wrestlers collapse in the middle of the ring and the crowd goes fucking nuts. Both wrestlers draw in power from this mental crowd, and before they can even get to their feet, they are back at it already, exchanging stiff forearms to each other's jaws while they're still on their knees. They keep at it as they get to their feet. Jamie Hater rocks Stat with a particular spicy forearm and cracks her with another. The world champion is wobbly. Hater has her by the arm and she looks out to the crowd. Is now the moment? Will Hater connect with this haterade and become a two-time world champion? Nah. Chris suddenly slaps the shit out of Jamie Hater. She being Hater, to send her a receipt, but before she can retaliate, the world champion does the thing I despise the most in wrestling, like legit. She spits right in Jamie Hater's face. Her explanation of this, by the way, during the media scrum afterwards, really didn't explain this at all. If you get what I mean, like the Stat we saw after this fight at this media scrum was a completely different person to the one I just watched spit in the face of her challenger. Like it's something. It's remember Dark Stat, how she crept in. I think there may be a vein still in there. After this disgusting display of saliva, Stat gets a satisfied smirk across her face. That gets a bit too close to a fucking Yoda smirk for my liking, but I digress. Jamie is like, you fucking bitch. And fair enough, but boosted by the dastardly deeds, Stat avoids Hater's comeback and takes her out with a haterade. That world champion. She's a cheeky minx. Stat flips Hater over and is about to nail Jamie with the Saturday Night Fever to really nail it in. But Hater shifts her weight and naps the fuck out of that. It is now Stat who is upside down, and Hater rams her head into the ring with a Saturday Night Fever of her own. Once again, both wrestlers crash out onto the mat as the thunderous cheers from the crowd erupt around them. I really, really hate spit or any frothing in general. Even if you're a hometown hero. I'm looking at you, King Frothblade. Hydrate thyself. Both wrestlers drag themselves to opposite corners and get to their feet. Hater with the look of grit on her face and Stat with a look of sadistic joy. Don't know what one I'd prefer. They face each other and go. Stat winds up with the discus lariat, but just discusses herself into the lariat coming from Hater. Hater hoists her up onto his shoulders, probably for another Ushigoroshi, but the world champion engages in champion boosted kicky feet and kicks out of the hold, yoinks Hater upside down, and nails her with Saturday Night Fever. Is it all over? Can you see from my face? Hater cannot recover in time to kick out, and Stat wins her second defense and has now beaten two past world champions in the battle for her title. And brava to Chris Statlander. She's a wonderful champion. She's an evolving champion. She's a bit of a dirty champion when she wants to be. I think watching Stat develop over 2026 is going to be very interesting. Like I said, 2026 is going to be the year of the characters. And I'm interested to see how hers develops. As the crowd get to their feet, the two wrestlers struggle to get to theirs. Chris Statlander needs some help from the ref, and Hater just doesn't bother. Fair enough. The victorious world champion rolls out of the ring and walks up the ramp with her title held high. Hater still hasn't gotten to her feet before we fade off to the three fellas of the announce team. It wasn't, nothing like, well, okay, I was just gonna say like nothing that like soured their relationship happened, but then like my brain instantly went spat in your face, and I'm like, well, I think you could safely say that that relationship is now going to be a little bit wet. Shut the fuck up. Moving on. Stat, like I said, was very warm at the meeting. See, that's what you get for making up stupid shit. Your voice eventually goes, really? You think you can just move on from that and I'm not gonna like punish you? There. It's very warm. Stat was also warm at the media scrum. Not saying she was, necessarily gold at the end, but she had definitely switched modes, right? It shall be interesting, like I say, to see how this world champion evolves, and I wonder what path Hater will turn down next. There's got to be, there has to be a demand that there be rematches between these two forever and ever. For a title, not for a title, for fun, rules, no rules. Ooh, no DQ. Jamie Hater, Chris Statlander for all the fucks. World champion Chris Statlander is an interesting wrestler, and not one I think will be very easy to predict. So good luck with that, people. Someone else who was warm and full of smiles and at the media scrum, no, it wasn't me, was the hero of the locker room herself, Willow Nightingale. She is now not only one half of the inaugural tag team champions, but is now the first ever two-time TBS champion and the first woman in AEW to hold two AEW belts at the same time. Ah. The men come to take their, the men. Hang on, before we get to the men. We're just going to take a moment to bask in the absolute glory that is Willow Nightingale winning the TBS championship. We're going to be talking about that match next in detail because that was an absolute banger. Pay-per-view quality match on like a Dynamite. It was so freaking good. Wait, what am I saying? Not on a Dynamite. It was a pay-per-view match on a pay-per-view. Fuck me. The brain's gone. The brain just left the reciprocal. The reciprocal stayed here and the brain went over there and the reciprocal just stood here like an idiot saying shit that wasn't actually true. No, it was a pay-per-view quality match at a pay-per-view. Fuck, it was good. So fucking good. So fucking good. But yes, the media scrum on YouTube is very wholesome. It's very, very sweet. Harley writes a song like right there, and it's like to Willow and how like happy she is to be in this tag team with her. Ah, it's so sweet. Orange is in the background, sitting, very adorable. Go watch that. And then yeah, go watch Chris as well. Weird. It's weird, right? Tell me I'm not the only one that thinks it's weird. Anyway, about these men I was talking about. You know the men who have come to take her first boat away? Yeah, if you didn't see that happen, you would have definitely heard the screams of rage that echoed around the marina, I'm sure, as Mercedes Monet watched the boat that started all of this mess get towed away. I wonder if Willow gets that boat. I wonder if she has boat contract. Hmm. You see, I wouldn't think so because it's a very CEO thing, to combine boats with belts. So I wonder who gets that boat now. Have a look. It could be on a Craigslist or a Trade Me or an eBay or a whatever near you. But what I was talking about, we did not see or hear from the CEO on Collision. Mm-mm-mm. She's been completely silent on socials. A peep since this loss. For what we know, she could still be sitting in the exact same fucking battle gear with purple confetti still in her hair. The gold dropper still has 8 belts around her waist and a few more months until the Owen Hart tournament starts up again. That, I have to say, has been one of the best things about Monet winning the Owen Hart tournament, right? So she has won that belt with pride, and you see that all the time since she won it. You have to look up. You literally have to look up. I doubt many people could like recite all of the past like Owen Hart Cup winners, right? You have to look them up to be able to remember who won them because even the men's from this year, like I totally forgot it. I mean, last year it was Hangman and Page. I mean, for Hangman, I kind of get why he didn't wear the Owen Hart belt like all the time because that man has some shit going on. But like everyone else who's like won it, they'd wear it for like a couple of months, and then that would not even a couple of months sometimes. Sometimes like a couple of shows, and then that's it. You'd like never see it again. Like it would be on a desk and then it would like float away, you know? And I don't like that. I'm not like that. If you win a belt, show it off. Make everyone remember what you did to get it, or else why the fuck would I care about your tournament? Sorry, Owen. But right? The TBS champion match was the main event of New Year's Smash on Dynamite. I was right. Carrying on. Harley was there to shake her boobs, and Willow was there to bring the boom, and both were adorned with their sparkling new tag championship belts. Willow is in her red and tiger print championship winning gear, and a smile so big, wait, you can see it from space. Harley gives her tag partner some good luck and then leaves to it. Willow will be doing this on her own. It's nice if anyone's coming out with me anyway. Although when I was writing this, my brain went into like prediction mode, right? And what if when Mercedes Monet is at her lowest, the Renegade Twins, they come out, they pick her up, and then boom, badass 3-man stable right there, kicking into the end of 2026, Robin, if you will remember, has already proven herself to the CEO. And I always felt there was like a little something growing there, mentor, mentee. But anyway, until then, absolutely no one's coming out with fucking me. The hero of the locker room runs around the ring, as is tradition, places her gorgeous title on the top rope, and completes her battle pose. The whole arena is hyped. The whole main event, like, has a pay-per-view vibe. It really does. Like instantly, as soon as it starts, it's like, ooh, stepped up. We're in it. The CEO's music hits, and the menfolk are back, holding their arms out straight with the title belts in front of them. The TBS title is firmly around the waist of Mercedes Moné. Mercedes is in her World's End Tag Match losing gear, which might be bad luck. We already know Willow wins, but we're going to be floating down that lazy river of fun, so we will pretend that the win more nothing. As her entrance music chants her name, Boat Monet makes her entrance on the ramp and dances her battle dance of power. Mercedes stomps like a supermodel down to the ring, confidence up the wazoo. It falters, and she gets closer to the ring, but then it comes back to battle business. Mercedes Moné finishes her battle entrance and holds the TBS title up high. She has completely ignored Willow until the CEO suddenly turns around and shoves the title right in Willow's face, getting all up in her business until the ref breaks it up. Conveniently, just as Willow was about to lay some hands, Mercedes needed something to give her an edge, and I think trying to get Willow emotional was part of her plan. The CEO has gorgeous hair for this match. I just want to say it matches her battle gear perfectly. It is satisfying to look at. I follow her hair, lady. Justin Justin Roberts also ends up between them. Unintentionally, of course. He's about to announce the match. Monet snaps straight into CEO pose again, playing those mind games, and Willow has a different kind of smile on her face. She knows what the CEO is trying to do and shall not be baited this evening. Thank you very much. I've never noticed before until watching this match, so maybe it was just enhanced, but Mercedes loves to touch herself during introductions, doesn't she? Was this a bit more excessive than usual? Or have I only just picked up on this? And not just with this either. We're talking. That reminds me, because I'm like, don't be too lengthy. That reminds me, hilariously, sidebar, posting my show with the thumbnail that the wonderful producer Shane has made. Bravo to all those. Put it up on Blue Sky. One of the wonderful sickos responds to it, and I'm like, oh, what's he saying? And I'm like, what the fuck is that all about? They tagged the picture, the thumbnail, as too saucy, sexual adult content. Oh, bollocks it is. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I played and I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, moving on. Mercedes starts off fast and smart by taking the legs of Willow out early with a low drop kick that almost sent Willow out of the ring. Monet followed it up with a sliding drop kick, and this did send the job of sending Willow out of the ring. Monet followed it up. Oh, no, 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 no. Lies. She goes to the outside, talking shit as she goes, and throws Willow into the thick LED barrier. And the whole thing goes black. Touchy Monet slams Willow's head into the apron on her way to the other side of the LED barrier and breaks everyone too with Willow's body. Mercedes, good thing it's the end of the fucking show. Mercedes gets too into herself and gives Willow enough time to recover and find her way out of the incoming meteor that was heading her way. Mercedes ends up knees first to the LED barricade. As she stumbles back, Willow comes at her with the pounce out of nowhere and sends Mercedes crashing into the steel barricade. Willow throws Monet's lifeless body into the ring for the first pin, but it, of course, is unsuccessful. Mercedes exploded out of that pin at she stumbles back into a corner and Willow plants her there with repeated heavy lariats. Mercedes nopes the fuck out of that and tries to get Willow down with a couple of cheeky little roll-ups, but that won't get her out of this. Willow turns a crucifix pin attempt from Monet back on her, and when Monet kicks out, her hand is still in Willow's. The hero of the locker room pulls Monet in for a devastating ripcord lariat. That, I swear, takes Mercedes' life out of her. Just for but not 3 seconds. Not 3 seconds, because she kicks at it too. A battle ensues until Willow nails Mercedes with a shotgun dropkick. She barks the barks of power before running full steam ahead and cannonballing straight into Monet. She goes for that pin, but won't get the win, and Mercedes rolls the fuck out of the ring, slightly disheveled. Willow thinks, work with this, and cannonballs herself off the apron and right through Mercedes, who thought she was safe, but Willow rolls through and gives us a battle cry from the depths, and the crowd goes bonkers. Mercedes is not out of tricks yet, and even as she gets rolled back into the ring, she takes advantage of her position and kicks Willow's legs out from underneath her, sending her crashing face first into the steel stairs. Those damn steel stairs. Mercedes stumbles back and then missiles herself into Willow, who is leaning up against the steel stairs, and smashes her face with a brutal meteora. Not even Mercedes escaped hurting from that one, but she is still the sadistic CEO, smile on her face, so she's fine. Those knees must be like concrete. Imagine her like delicately kneeling on you. Back in the ring, Monet goes to that special place and drags her nail across Willow's throat as she chokes her from behind. It looks like she was even trying to go as far as to dig all of those nails into Willow's flesh, but the ref put a stop to all of that nonsense. So Monet then just digs her knee into the back of Willow instead, which is legal, but still not nice. Mercedes is not holding back on the brutality. This might be the most menacing I've seen. Like, way more than Blood and Guts, Monet. Like, way more. Like, Willow did injure and take her World Women's Strong title away from her. So, it went there. And this whole, like, AEW run, they haven't been friends. Monet goes for the double knees again. And then goes back to choking Willow out with a rare triangle choke. Mercedes wrenches back on her foot for extra chokage. Dirty Monet grabs the rose for extra oomph, but she gets caught, and Willow manages to turn this whole mess around and gets to her feet with a very wriggly Monet on her shoulders. Monet wriggles herself to safety and pulls Willow viciously by the hair, and then once again runs a couple of knees right through Willow. Goddamn knees. Mercedes mounts Nightingale like she's going to pin her, but instead starts laying in some stiff forearms, maybe some cheeky closed fists in there as well, down onto Willow's head. She then pins her shoulders to the mat. In theory, it's a good pin, but it was not. And Willow uses her unencumbered, very strong legs to kick out way before 3. To be honest, the look on Mercedes' face after she went flying off Willow was quite unnerving. So, like, she then puts one of her fingernails in her mouth and then just rips it off like an absolute psychopath. Mercedes continues with the casual choking, though this time it was with her foot in the corner of the ring, and that, as we all know, it is very illegal and she has to obey the ref's count. All of Willow's comebacks at the CEO have yet to stick. Mercedes goes running in for another meteora, but Willow has had enough of all of this and manages to capture her mid-aura. Willow gets to her feet with Mercedes still in her grasps. Willow hefts the CEO onto her shoulder and then slams her down onto the mat with a glorious Death Valley driver. Mercedes cries out in pain and flops back onto the mat. Willow takes this moment to catch her breath and formulates a battle plan. Like a villain emerging from the rubble, Mercedes crawls up from the mat into the corner of the ring. She turns and runs full steam into a demolishing lariat from Willow. 3 times! She never learned. She does try and then successfully avoids the spine buster, which, when done by Willow Nightingale, is extra spicy. But then Mercedes just ends up catapulting herself into the deadly pounce again, and she goes flying. She then lands in a crumbled heap on the mat. Willow goes for the Death Valley driver again and goes for the pin, but the unkillable CEO kicks out before 3. Willow kind of looks like she's about to cry, but it was probably just the exhaustion and the adrenaline playing games with her face. Willow changes her expression to that of determination, and returns to battle. See, if you sing the song, the word a little bit when you're getting it wrong, no one will notice. Lies. Lies. Monet engages knee power again with a beautiful backstabber, but cannot stop herself from being caught in Willow's grasp, and she gets slammed down to the mat with the power bomb, one of Willow's extra strong moves. It's very close to the ropes, but Willow goes for the pin anyway. Willow kind of topples as she goes to pin Monet, and Mercedes uses that momentum to roll over more, and she gets her foot to the bottom right before the ref can get the 3. Willow can't believe it, but she can't waste any time either. Shit fucks up. She drags Monet's limp body to a better position and then climbs the ropes. Monet is stirring, and just as Willow leaps backwards into the moonsault, she rolls out of the way, and Willow splats down onto no one. Mercedes likes this top rope idea and goes for a frog splash and comes down onto Willow's knees instead, which had to hurt Willow, but Mercedes got it way worse. Like, all the breath just escapes her body with it. And then Willow gets a plan. She takes Mercedes' body, which has rolled under the ropes, and is now on the apron, and hoists her up onto her shoulders. Willow takes a moment to adjust her footing and then jumps off the apron, slamming Monet's body into the tiniest part of the ring with a nasty but very necessary Death Valley driver. Mercedes gets rolled back into the ring by Willow, but she continues her momentum and rolls out of the ring again. She lures in a Willow who goes to take her out with the apron cannonball again, but this time all that power comes crashing down onto the ground instead of a human. Even the security guard in the background flinched as Willow's back hit that floor. Mercedes scrambles over Willow and almost takes out a cameraman. The CEO takes Willow by the head and suplexes her onto the floor, which is shit for both wrestlers. There is no way that Mercedes can make it any more comfortable for herself as she's doing that. She gets blocked from completing the 3 amigos, though, because Willow has had quite enough of all that, and rams Monet's back into the corner of the ring. She slips into the ring to break that count as Mercedes tries to regain life. Willow gets inspired and decides that she needs the announce desk for her own purposes and starts clearing the desk. Willow then tenderizes Mercedes and plops her on top of the cleared desk. Willow starts to literally beg Willow not to do what she is planning to do, but this is not going to work. Not now. What does work, though, is a couple of kicks to the old gut. Willow temporarily loses control of Monet, and that's all she needs to turn the tides, and it is Willow who comes crashing down on that unyielding announce desk and then bounces to the floor. Death. Amazingly, both wrestlers managed to make it back into the ring before the ref gets to 10. Willow makes it in time, and Mercedes flies into a rage. She was like, she ain't coming in, there ain't no motherfucking way. God damn it, she said. She tries to take Willow down with a quick roll-up, but is denied. She then takes a page out of the Death Riders book and starts laying into Willow with some stiff elbows. She's softening her up for the statement maker, but when she locks it on, Willow counters herself out of that shit. A flurry of glorious violence ensues, more intense than anything before. Multiple pin attempts are made, and it would be one of those attempts from Mercedes that would end up putting her in the worst position possible. To kick out the pin, Willow rolls over and glomps onto Mercedes Monet. Before she can do anything about it, Willow brings her body up, slamming it down onto the mat in the most excellent babe with the powerbomb ever seen. With a definitive, there's no blah, blah, blah. There's no arguing this at all. Mercedes does not have half a leg to stand on. A definitive 1, 2, 3. And the entire arena leaps to their feet and erupts into cheers. People are jumping with joy, like hugging the person next to them. There are tears and smiles all around. Willow Nightingale is your new TBS champion, the first to hold it twice, the first to hold the tag titles, and the first to hold them both at the same time. Mercedes has been making history around the world, but Willow just made AEW history. Willow is handed the title before Mercedes has even regained consciousness. Purple confetti then explodes out of the sky. All of a sudden, Harley's there. She runs into the ring. Speedball, Kevin Knight's there, and Orange Cassidy also comes down to the ring too to congratulate their fellow conglomerate. Mercedes is now on the ground, leaning against the ring, seething with something. But someone else is here. The world champion, Willow's former bestie, has managed to ninja appear into the ring and stands before Willow, who has no idea how to react. But then the most beautiful thing happens. They just instantly walk towards each other and embrace. Almost 2 years of estrangement dissolved right then in that big old beautiful moment. Everything is now all good. Although I still don't trust that vein. We're going to be watching that dark stat vein very close. It's on the list. It's on the list with Renee. Renee and hologram. And don't think that Al clone is getting off on anything either. He bit in hologram the other day, and I was not happy about it. But we're not talking about that. Monet check. Still on the floor. The menfolk leave the ring, and the 3 women, the 3 champions of AEW, celebrate Willow's victory, and the crowd continue to cheer, and fireworks explode. So we fade out. Everyone is getting down to Willow's music, all except Monet, who looks like she might want. As previously stated, we haven't heard a peep out of the CEO since. Has she taken to the 7 seas with all of her gold out into the ocean where no one can take them from her? We shall have to wait and see. But if you see a boat pic, just gonna take a moment and just feel the good vibes of those 2 fucking good matches. Like I said in the last episode, right? You can't call off 2025 until it finished. 2025 truly was the year of women's wrestling, and it meant it all the way up into the last moment. But we are now in 2026. We're sweating, and we're in 2026. And we get a delightful little cold open promo from the Timeless Love Bombs on Collision. It is ridiculous how much these two are just made for each other. Don't you think? They are fired up for their battle against Han and Maya World, and like, no offense, but like, they're gonna kick their butt. They sign off in fabulous love bomb fashion. Once again, thank you, Mariah May, wherever you may be, for helping bring Mina into Tony's life. I think they make each other very happy. For collision, we are taken to Arlington, Texas. And the set is giving me like early 90s vibes, but also like really chic. It's really cool. Like the Outrunners would just be like perfect there. The timeless love bombs, time to fight hath come, and their music blasts throughout the arena. Luther comes out first, for he is with us now, which is such a heartwarming sight. I have missed Luther. He now has two lovely ladies to butler for, and he hypes up the crowd on his way down the ramp, making sure no enemies are hiding in ambush. Mina and Tony hit the stage and dance the dance of love and power. Everyone in the crowd is dancing with them as the two wrestlers stomp and shimmy their way down to the ring. Squaws. They battle pose in fabulous style. Mina in black with red boots and long red gloves. Tony all in white, a red lip and a glint in her eye. They both greet the ref. Very studious. Studious? That's not a word. Moving on. And the announcer, Arkady Aura, who, by the way, is doing me the personal favor of looking absolutely ravishing in an all black ensemble. And they prepare for their opponents. I sound Arkady. I like almost combined your whole name in like one. Arkady. We're not going to do that. Maya and Hyan's music hits, and it's a bop. The beat really gets you into the mood, and even the timeless one is shaking her tush. Both Maya and Hyan are from Texas. Hyan's from Houston. Houston? Why did I say it like that? Houston. Houston. Who? Houston. And Maya is from Greenville. They are in their lime and black gear, but tonight Hyan has brought out the battle jacket and Maya is wearing her match as a cute crop. Hearing all the ladies screaming and cheering from the crowd made me smile. My heart filled that little bit more. As Maya and Hyan, yeah, we can do that, finish their battle entrance, the crowd are going bananas in support of the new All Elite signees. Everyone is on their feet, and this match suddenly has major big party vibes to it. The crowd are like behind everyone. It's going to be a fun time. As the crowd chant for Maya, she and Mina lock up. We get a little technical dance of violence until the party vibe catches up to Mina, and she just has to do her knee slide into the titty shimmy. Maya can understand the desire, but she is here to win, and she goes to kick Mina in the side of the face. But Mina is too quick for all of this. I wrote down, kick Mina in the side of the Mina. Kick her right in the Minas. They test out each other again, and then after a bit of a chat, they both decide to tag in their partners. Tony and Hyan meet each other in the ring and instantly meet each other's energy. They exchange a very sporting handshake, and with a cheeky smile, Hyan pulls the timeless one into a sidelock. Tony expertly counters out of the headlock so smoothly that I didn't even notice that she had done it until Hyan's head was firmly in her clutches. Hyan feels the power of the former world champion as they collide with shoulder tackles. Hyan slams backwards down onto the mat, and Tony runs off the ropes and drop kicks Hyan into the face. The crowd are like, ooh, but then it's Tony. And as she battle poses in the ring, the crowd again. Everyone's a favorite in this match, and you just have to live with the fact that your favorite might just get a bit beaten up in this match. A snippy, snappy suplex from the timeless one, and she tags in her lover. Mina thinks that's a fine idea and gives Hyan a snappy suplex of her own. She tags in Timeless, who hoists Mina up onto her shoulders for an assisted tornado splash and gives the camera a fantastic battle pose of triumph. Mina, not Tony. Tony pins Hyan, but she does not get the win. Tony brings Hyan up to her feet, and Hyan takes this advantage to drive Timeless backwards into the corner so Maya can tag herself in. It's now Maya and Hyan's turn to get a little double teamy on it. Moving on. They whip Tony into the ropes, but she ducks under their double clothesline, which I have to say is my hated double team move anyway, like at all. Moving on. They turn around just in time to be drop kicked by Tony Storm, and Hyan ends up getting hip attacked right through the ropes. Maya has exited the ring and goes around to check on her tag partner. In the ring, though, the Timeless Love Bombs are setting up for another double team. Tony Storm's sexual magnetism almost brings Mina stumbling off the ropes, but she recovers, and with the assist from Storm, she leaps into the air and comes crashing down on both Hyan and Maya with a crossbody. The crowd cheer and they chant for Mina. We want Mina. Maya gets brought back into the ring and she and Mina go at it. Maya tags in Hyan and then they go for a double team move they tried against Tony. This time, though, they do actually connect with the awful double closer. Not that they did it awfully. I'm getting over it. And Mina goes down in a flash. Hyan leaps into the air and drops the leg down onto Mina Shirakawa. This must have been their plan for Tony. Hyan goes for the pin, but in all fairness, it was a shite pin and was never going to keep Mina down for 3, let alone 2. Hyan keeps control of Mina and takes her with her to her corner to tag in Maya. Mina gets planted into the corner and Maya keeps her there for a bit longer with her foot. Things don't get better for Mina as Maya flies at her with her own version of the hip attack, and soon Mina finds herself in a chokehold by Maya World. Luther is earning his pay tonight as he pounds down onto the mat to drum up power from the crowd. Hopefully for Mina's benefit and not Maya's, but one cannot control these things. Mina gets some space from Maya with an elbow to the gut, but she does not notice that Hyan was able to tag in because of this. And Mina gets caught in another double team move. Hyan hits her onto her shoulders and drops her down onto Maya's awaiting knees. It's a fair time to go for a pin, but Mina still kicks out. Mina starts to fight back and she pulls out that Joshi badassery. Hyan is quick enough to duck Mina's kick, but the spinning back fist lands right on target and Hyan slumps down to the mat. Both Maya and Tony pound onto the top turnbuckle for the tag, and they both get what they want. What Hyan and Maya don't want, though, is a Mongolian chop fest. And what is it that they get complimentary tickets to? A Mongolian chop fest, brought to you by the timeless one herself, Tony Storm. Hyan rolls out of the ring, leaving Maya and Tony to face off alone. Timeless is dominating Maya, though, and after superb DDT, she goes for a pin. Maya kicks out with force, though, and manages to get to her corner to tag in Hyan. With Timeless face down on the mat, Hyan takes advantage and Gator rolls her up and hoists her up into a facebuster. Maya is already running off the ropes, and nails Tony with a bulldog, and then Hyan finishes the job with a shotgun dropkick that goes through the former world champion. Very smart move, ladies, but does not get the 3. Hyan's like, yo, that was very close, and quickly takes Tony by the head over to her corner and tags in Maya for another devastating double team. Maya World goes to and gives. Fuck me. Maya World gives a nice deep cover to the timeless one, but Mina Shirakawa appears just in time to break that pin before 3. Hyan comes back into the ring and hits Mina out of it, and they go to set Tony up for another double team. Once again, they go for that bloody double clothesline, and Tony Storm ducks it with ease. Instead of Tony coming back at them with a drop kick, this time it was Mina, and with a battle cry, she comes flying off the top rope and takes Maya and Hyan out. Shit gets real cheeky as Mina calls for the hip attack, but both Maya and Hyan get set up in the corner, and with a 1-2 to each cheek, Mina slams herself into Hyan. Mina helps Hyan roll out of the ring, which was very nice of her, and it's now time for the timeless one to take a bump with her butt. And Tony hitches up those britches right there. Maya's World Ooh, might as well get painful. But she's helpless and gets absolutely demolished by the hip attack. Mina is ready, and when it's clear, she flies off the top rope and nails Maya with a sling blade. The timeless love bombs are not done. Mina springboard tornillos to the outside and takes out Hyan to make sure that she cannot save Maya, which was unbelievably impressive, by the way. In the ring, Maya gets nailed by Storm Zero, and that is the end, folks. The crowd erupts. It was a bloody good match. The Love Bombs dance in celebration and show their respect to Hyan and Maya World, who gave them one heck of a fight. Great signings. I knew they would be. As we watch the timeless love bombs and Luther back up the ramp whilst acknowledging their adoring fans, all of a sudden, Death Rider music hits and everyone stops. Instantly, Luther shits himself while Tony and Mina start looking around for the problem. Looks like the mega problem are coming out to play next. We pan out to the back, and in the darkness, bathed in red light, is that Marina Shafir, shadowboxing. She stomps towards ringside, her demeanor never wavering. She hesitates slightly as she climbs over the barricade to reach the ring. She glares over to where the timeless love bombs were, and you can see that they had been ushered to the back, well, and also rushed to the back by the ref out of harm's way. But they will meet in battle soon. You can literally see the animosity building between these two. Marina circles the ring, disrobing and I assume swearing in Moldovan as she does. When we come back from the break, Marina is still just as mad as when we left her, and Megan Bain's music hits. I have missed you so. Oh. And she is not only back, but my current favorite gear of hers is also back. You know, the one I gushed over it. I forgot what it's a reference to though, but Penelope Ford looks unbeatable in it. And behind her, standing tall, powerful, and as majestic as ever, the Megasis stands behind her. Yes. Also, in her, like, cool as fuck woman battle gear. I have missed this entrance so much. Penelope's arm is still in the sling, unfortunately, but she stomps down to that ring just as fiercely and scolds the crowd for not bowing down, as they should. Thank you. Megan Bain doesn't need to say anything. She is everything that needs to be said. And look who it is. I couldn't believe it when I saw her. I got so fucking excited. Now, I should have checked this up. Like, Arcady, love you, love the outfit. But she said Rach Chanel. I'm sure because of like, it's got the hair at the end of it. There's like Roche Chanel. So we're going to go with that because we want to be fancy. But Roche Chanel is back in 80 years. Oh my God, we first saw her back in the day on Dark and Dark Elevation. She is a fucking hoot. Freaking love Roche Chanel. Oh my God. So glad she's back. I hope we see more of her. I really do. I really do. And London Dior is here, who we absolutely love. This match is going to be a bloody delight. Dior faces off against Marina Shafir, and she doth not hesitate in locking up with the problem. Marina makes it a problem for her pretty quickly, though, and it kind of looked like Marina kicked Dior in the vagine. Anywho, though, Marina drags Dior with her so she can kick Chanel off of the apron, which was very rude, and she whips Dior into the opposite corner in front of Bane and body slams all of the air out of her. Penelope Ford is on the outside, jumping with glee at this game of violence. She is so happy to be back ringside, and I am happy to have him back. Yes. Dior faces off against Marina Shafir, and oh no, wait, we did that. That was your fault. Bane tags in, and things get a bit better for Penelope, who gets even more excited as Bane repeatedly rams her shoulder into Dior. Bane chops Dior once. Everyone in the building turns inside out. Megan brings Dior with her to the middle of the ring and slams her down onto the mat with a heavy suplex. Dior finds her way, oh no, Dior finds herself seeking refuge in the corner, but none will come, only a Bane, and by way of a splash. Dior gets whipped into the opposite corner and Bane goes to do it again, but just in time, Dior nopes the living fuck out of there and tags in Chanel, who doesn't hesitate to get back into the ring. But as she does get back into the ring, she like scampers. She scampers right into the arms of Marina Shafir and finds herself in a dangerous situation. The Megasis hefts her up onto her shoulders in the fireman's carry, given to her by Marina. Whilst Marina lays on the mat, literally awaiting her prey to be dropped into her arms like a mothering succubus. Rocher Chanel has no chance of getting out of this absolute smothering. Honestly, it's a real good thing that Marina doesn't have big juicy boobies, because if she did, people would be dying in this submission, like literally and figuratively. Chanel instantly taps, but Marina is just so loving that she holds on to her friend. Marina calls out Tony Storm and starts yelling something down at the camera, but we've switched to Mega Bad, so you should all bow down. It's so good to see her back. Honestly, I can't believe how Bane is doing this. She is the Megasis. She is the moment. She is the beef. She is the power. Holy shite balls. Her versus Stat for that title is going to be insane. Don't give it to me too quickly, though. Before we fly away, speaking of flying, Dante and I have Dante, excuse me, I have a bone to pick with you two, Dante and Mr. Fallen Angel. They do not come out with patron saint of the show, Layla Gray. And that is very rude. She is trying, our dear, wonderful, multi-talented Miss Gray is trying really hard to get to the Billboard 100. So you go do whatever you have got to do to go help a woman out, all right? Okay. And with all that is said and done, we have come to the end of the show. And since it is my birthday week this week, you all have to go celebrate by go getting Layla Gray to 100. Go on, do it. We can do it, people. But no, seriously, on a more serious note, it would be really wonderful if you just like casually get me to like 1 million subscribers. Just like that. It's my birthday and everything. People always do like mad things for people's birthday. Anywho, I'm turning 44. Get over it. Anywho, I will live if I wake up on Sunday and there are not 1 million subscribers here. I won't hold you all accountable. But maybe I will. Maybe I'll send it Julia after you. I have her right here now. I can pull her out whenever I want. But anyway, what have you thought about this week's discussion? If you so wish, you can leave your thoughts as comments in the appropriate sections everywhere. Thank you. for joining me. It has been fun. I've loved talking about these matches. They were all freaking amazing and just filled with badass women, as they always freaking are. Before I melt into myself, wherever you are, if you could be so kind as to like and subscribe whilst you're here, I'd be very birthday grateful. You know, and all that shit. I gotta get out of here. It's the heat, I tell you, it's the heat. You can find me sweating in threads at pics underscore Bastet and under a tree, cooling down hopefully in blue sky at Bex hyphen Bastet. That's unless, our content's too saucy for blue sky. Follow us on Don't Call Me Diva on TikTok. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. TikToks and the shorts are going to be exploding. It's coming. I swear. I do not lie. Thank you for my endearing, wonderful producer, Shane, who's my editor, promoter, and extraordinaire. Go check out the Ethos Media Network. They've been doing some amazing shite over there. So go check that crap out. Do crap? No, we'll see if that makes it in. Join us at sickosclub.com and at Sickos Club on Threads. You've never met a more inclusive, smart, and kind fucking bunch of talented, silly sausages who also happen to really enjoy wrestling. And as this episode comes out, we should have something really fun going on right now. So go and participate. Go find it. This was Don't Call Me Diva. Like, duh. What else was it? What is wrestling rules? Don't be a dick.